Welcome to the Panasonic Stadium then in Suita for Gamba Osaka against Nagoya Grampus. It is match day 2 of the J1 100-year Vision League. This is the West Region clash between two sides who got off to winning starts last weekend. Gamba needing a penalty shootout to overcome their city rivals Cerezo, but now kick off their first match of the new bridging season against Nagoya Grampus, who were 1-0 winners against Shimizu S Pulse. Well, a win for Nagoya Grampus would take them to the top of the West Region table, as they would be the only side to win both their games in 90 minutes. A 3-goal victory would be enough to see Gamba go to the top of the early table. The 100-year Vision League, a bridging campaign to take J1 to the 26-27 season, as Japanese football moves from a summer season to an autumn to spring campaign in line with the AFC club competitions. And Gamba have been involved in one of those in midweek, playing in the round of 16 against Pohang Steelers in the AFC Champions League 2, the second leg of which will be here on Thursday, having earned a 1-1 draw in South Korea. Well, celebratory feel about the match here today, as the Panasonic Stadium celebrates its 10-year anniversary. Gamba have been playing here since 2016, and there will be a Legends match to commemorate that milestone as well after the final whistle here. Well, Gamba Osaka relieved to be playing their first home match of the season. Started the campaign away from home, but just down the road against Cerezo. And history being remembered today, the 10 years at this stadium, as I was saying. Two clubs who were original members, part of the original 10 of the J-League back in 1993. Nagoya Grampus have spent just the one season outside of the top flight in the J-League era back in 2017. Gamba Osaka likewise, when they were relegated, but came back and won the domestic treble in their first season back in the top flight in 2014. It saw them win the second of their two Japanese titles 12 years ago. It's 16 years since Nagoya Grampus were Japanese champions for the only time under Dragan Stojkovic in 2010. But they remain a club with high ambition. And there is, remember, an AFC Champions League elite place on offer for the winners of the J1 100-year Vision League. No relegation. The 20 top-flight clubs split into 2 regions, 10 in the west, 10 in the east, and the top 2 will play off at the end for the title. So to the teams, Gamba have right back Takeru Kishimoto suspended after his red card in last week's Osaka derby. So Riku Handa replaces him in one of 4 changes from last weekend. Shogo Sasaki at centre-back, so it's the same back 4 that started in Korea in midweek. Rin Mito comes into the centre of midfield to partner Shuto Abe, while Shu Kurata makes a welcome return to the left wing with Issam Jabali supporting Harumi Minamino at centre forward. The Gamba captain these days, Shinosuke Nakatani, former Nagoya Grampus centre-back. Keigo Sendachi, the 36-year-old, is in charge. Koi Koya is the VAR official. Well, no midweek AFC competition for Nagoya Grampus, so Mihailo Petrovic has had the full week to prep his team. But he does make a couple of changes, with Yuki Nogami coming in at the left-sided centre-back position. Shuhei Takumoto starts at left wing-back. Yudai Kimura's goal gave Nagoya an opening day win over Shimazu S-Pulse last Sunday. Marcus Vinicius and Yudai Kimura will look to supply Yuya Yamagashi at centre-forward, who's yet to hit the goal-scoring heights of his time at Avispa Fukuoka so far in his couple of seasons at Nagoya Grampus. New coaches on both benches for this season, and they couldn't be more contrasting in terms of experience. Jens Wissing, the 38-year-old German, in charge of his first senior coaching role of Gamba, having taken over from Dani Poyatos. And Mihailo Petrovic, 30 years his senior, who took over from Kenta Hasegawa at the end of his contract. Hasegawa, who was the former coach of both these teams. Petrovic this season celebrating 20 years as a coach in Japanese football. So Gamba Osaka were going to get us underway, but 4 of their players were in the Nagoya Grampus half of the field. So it's Gamba Osaka against Nagoya Grampus from the Panasonic Stadium in Suita in Osaka. Match day 2 of the J1 100-year Vision League. Slightly more withdrawal role for Issam Jabali so far this season, since Jens Wissing, the German, took over. Sent forward by Sasaki up towards Minamino. Done again by Abe. Takumoto sending it forward. Nakatani with the header. Gamba on the front foot already with Minamino. Skipping past Fuji, making his way towards the penalty area. Still, it's not away. Abe helping it on. Here's Jabali. Support from Ryoya Yamashita. And then the first-time shot from Abe with no real power. And a comfortable gather for Daniel Schmidt in the Nagoya Grampus goal. Assistant roles at RB Leipzig, Benfica, PSV Eindhoven and Borussia Mönchengladbach's second team for Jens Wissing, since his playing career was cut short due to injury in 2014. Jabali wins the free kick for Gamba. Yuki Nogami, more of a central role for him in this back three that Mihailo Petrovic employs. Utilised generally throughout his career as a full-back. New coach, new system for Nagoya Grampus. What you are guaranteed with Mihailo Petrovic teams is exciting football. Heavy touch from Jabali. Nakayama, cut out by Shinosuke Nakatani. 6 years spent with Nagoya Grampus, 188 league appearances for them. Made the switch to Gamba in 2024. He's only played for 3 clubs. He was at Kashiwa Reysol prior to that at the start of his career. Terrific centre-back, still only 29. Nogami. Cleared away by Handa. Both teams giving possession away cheaply. I don't think Takamani could quite believe that the ball came back at him so quickly. He wasn't ready for it. Gamba have had the edge in recent times between these two. They've won the last 4 meetings since losing back-to-back games in 2023, both of them by a goal to nil. Nagoya Grampus haven't managed a goal against Gamba in the last 2 meetings. Gamba winning both league matches 2-0 last season. There's Nakayama. Now Fuji. Too much on that though. Sasaki happy to see it back to his goalkeeper. Seguchi looking for options, nobody really showing for him. Abe came short. Oh, what a career. Became the first foreign manager to achieve 200 J1 wins in October of 2020, almost 6 years ago now. He then broke Akira Nishino's record for the most games coached in J1 history in March of 2023. Seven years spent at Consadole Sapporo. 5 years at Urawa Reds, 5 years at Sanfrecce Hiroshima, his first Japanese club. Nakatani. Now Yamashita. And towards Jabali. Minamino. Wins the corner. Seen plenty of the early ball, Gamba. Finished 9th last season with 57 points, level with Kawasaki Frontale. Went out of both of the cup competitions early, though, in the 3rd rounds of both the Empress Cup and the League Cup. Difficult campaign for Nagoya Grampus, finished down in 16th. Deep delivery into the hands of Daniel Schmidt. Here's Abe. Shukurata. Suggesting the last touch was off the Nagoya Grampus defender, but it's a goal kick. Well, his tenure has begun with a couple of draws, both away from home. The 0-0 at Cerezo, the 1-1 at Pohang Steelers, which was a decent result to put them in a good position to reach the quarter-finals of the AFC Champions League 2, the second-tier competition, the Asian equivalent of the Europa League. Here's Yamashita. Kumato ahead of him. Handa made his way into the penalty area, but that's going to be a free kick. Looking to deliver the ball, to be fair, and Takumato just put his leg in between, and as a result took a rap on the back of the calf. Header away by Sasaki, and Nakayama fighting for it. It's a Nagoya Grampus ball. There's Nogami. Yamashita getting the foot in. Sasaki onto Shootout Abe, who's looked lively in the midfield in the opening 9 or 10 minutes. Foul by Jabali. Tunisian international Issam Jabali on 13 caps. Hasn't featured for them though at a major tournament since being part of the 2022 World Cup squad. By Abe. There's Mito. Over hit by Abe and cleared away by Fuji. Now Marcus Vinicius. It's a free kick for Gamba. Minamino. Force wide. Nagaki across. Nagoya Grampus have contrived to give the ball away again. Fuji clears. Now Kimura. He felt he was being fouled. The referee didn't agree, and the game continues. One back by Abe. Here's Yamashita. Minamino. There's Jabali in the centre. Got the shot away, Minamino. Just 21 years of age, former Japanese under-16 international. Had a spell in the youth ranks with Cerezo Osaka before switching to Gamba. Yeah, just off balance, and as a result, off target. Only featured 10 times last season, just one start. The other 9 appearances all off the bench, scored just the once on the final day of the season. The 4-1 win here against Tokyo Verdy after coming off the bench. He's been handed his opportunity, though, at the start of this campaign by Jens Vissing. Higashiguchi. Now Mito, he's given it away, big chance, Nagoya Grampus, and it really should have been the opening goal. Well, Vinicius looks to the heavens. Well, Gamba playing themselves into all sorts of trouble here, and what a chance that was for Marcus Vinicius. It's going to be a corner for Gamba. Well, Nagoya Grampus hadn't really threatened at all until Gamba almost gifted them the opening goal. It's a brutal-looking Mihailo Petrovic, wasn't it, on the bench. Gamba on top, but they certainly got away with one there. Sasaki and Nakatani coming forwards. Straight into the hands of Schmidt again. And he wastes no time in launching that forwards. Mito covering well, though. Hara. Fuji. Heavy touch from Nagagi, who's normally so reliable in the centre of that midfield. Nagoya throw. Nagoya Grampus have actually won 5 of their last 11 trips here. And 32 games here between the two clubs. And there's very little to choose between them. Marcus Vinicius with a heavy touch, and Higashiguchi gets it away. Twelve wins for Nagoya Grampus, 14 for Gamba Osaka. Schmidt. Nagaki. Nakayama. .15 gone then, 0-0. Sasaki stepping in. Yamagashi trying to pick up the loose ball. Well, Marcus Vinicius failed to score that opportunity, but Nagoya Grampus seem to have been pepped up a bit by it. They're seeing more of the ball now. Sasaki to Hatsuze. They've got 2-on-2 here if they can play this right. Gamba. Oh, Minamino went for goal. Yamashita and Jabali up in support. Works hard off the ball as well, Minamino. And that was pretty much all his own work, winning the ball initially and then firing it wide. Probably the wrong decision in the end. Positive play again by the youngster. Hatsuze clears to Jabali. Nakayama over the free kick. Nogami just pulling away there behind the Gamba defensive line. And swung into the arms of Higashiguchi, who comfortably gathers it. Here's Abe. Now Handa. Back to Abe again, who dwelt for too long on the ball, and it was taken away by Yamagishi. Two hefty challenges going in early on here. Nakayama. Now Marcus Vinicius has had the big chance of the game so far. There's Abe. Away by Takamine. There's Kimura. Now Takamine got there first, and Gamba managed to scramble it away. Ryo Hatsuze, the left back, in there to clear. Kimura and Takamine did well. Goalkeeper committed. And Hatsuze did brilliantly to cover in behind him and hook it away from just in front of the line. A bright start from Gamba, but it's Nagoya Grampus who have had the two best chances of the game. Would have been a tap-in for Marcus Vinicius. Yeah, Hatsuze not had the presence of mind to get in there and clear it away. Former Vissel Kobe defender. Won the J1 title a couple of times with Vissel Kobe. Made 6 appearances for Sheffield Wednesday in England last season before returning to Japan with Gamba. Here's Mito. On by Abe to Yamashita. When he's on it, Yamashita, he can be such a threat. Lays that one off, and it's struck first time by Kurita, but straight at Schmidt. Busy play by Yamashita. Ball just sitting up as he struck it. Didn't get right through the ball. It was too close to Schmidt. Comfortable save in the end. Fuji. Now Nogami. There's Handa. Now Shuto Abe. Jabali's attempted switch blocked by Inagaki. Intended target there was Kimura, but cut out by Nakatani. And now back with Abe. Nakatani. Now Sasaki. Cut out this time by Nogami. Yamagashi helps it on and struck goalwards by Marcus Vinicius. Yeah, Gashaguchi with the save. Well, he may have missed that big chance, but he's been a constant threat, Marcus Vinicius. It's a dipping effort that may well have been creeping inside the post. Tokumoto. Overhit by Nogami. Well, Gamba unbeaten in 2 games here, a win and a draw since 5-0 hammering at the hands of Kashiwa Reysol last season. That, though, their only loss here. In the last 7 in J1, they've won 5 of those. There's Marcus Vinicius. And Nakayama. Hara made the run ahead of him. Suze going long towards Minamino, ushered out of it though by Fuji. And it's going to be a free kick. Finished just 8 points off the bottom 3 last season, Nagoya Grampus. Some 32 points off the top 2 in the Champions League elite places. A club whose fan base expect them to be there or thereabouts, challenging for the major prizes. Have won all the major domestic trophies, the Emperor's Cup twice, the J.League Cup twice, and the J1 title. Here's Jabali. Now Yamashita. Fires the ball across, here's Jabali! And Gamba lead. Lovely finish from the Tunisian. Yamashita playing his part in that as well. But clipping it in off the inside of the post. And it is Gamba Osaka 1, Nagoya Grampus 0. Really neat build-up play. And they backed off Yamashita. You do that at your peril. And Jabali on hand to finish it off. Clinical finish from the 34-year-old Tunisian. Had his most prolific campaign last season in the shirt of Gamba with 7 goals. He'd scored 2 and 5 in his previous 2 campaigns in the blue and black. Has his first goal of this season. And Gamba Osaka lead. There is a check ongoing. possible foul? Well, there was nothing obvious. It'll be interesting to see what the VAR has potentially picked out here. Well, Nagoya Grampus about to get a massive reprieve. Gamba had their own let off when Marcus Vinicius failed to score a glorious chance. Is it there? Minamino backing into the defender. He was attempting to block the shot of Issam Jabali. Well, he does block him, but was he going to get there? That's the question, and I don't think he was. Yeah, he does move towards the defender, doesn't he? I do wonder if this is going to be chalked off. Shame for Jabali. It was a great finish and it was a great move from Gamba. Petrovic having a word with Jabali there as well, interestingly. And it has been disallowed for the foul of Minamino. I think had he just stood his ground, he would have been okay, but he does actually take that step. Steps forward, doesn't he, into Teruki Hara. And it's harsh on Jabali, and it's a shame because it was a good goal, but it remains at 0-0. By the same token, it clearly was a foul by Minamino. And frustration for Jens Vissing. Saw his side go 1-up in career in midweek. Yamashita scoring 2 minutes into the second half before George to share a goal. And 70 minutes saw them draw the game 1-1. And he thought his side were in front there, but not so. Well, big let-off then for both teams one way or another so far in this opening half an hour. Yamashita's been shown a yellow card. It must have been for something he said to the referee. Nakatani's header away. There's a bit of niggle creeping into this contest. There's been 1 or 2 tasty challenges gone in. Shuto Abe and Yuya Yamagashi going at each other. Nakatani over the free kick. Half an hour gone, 0-0. Can easily have goals at both ends, though. And that's a free kick now. And a yellow card for Showa Nagaki. Become Mr. Nagoya Grampus, hasn't he, since switching from Sanfrecce Hiroshima in 2020. Only 200 appearances for the Japanese international. Twice been selected in the J-League's season 11, as he was last season. Not a great challenge on Rinmito. It's over a decade now since Gamba Osaka's last major trophy, when they won the Emperor's Cup in 2015. Club, remember, who have been champions of Asia back in 2008. Those heady days, it seems, though, long gone at the moment. They've become something of a mid-ranking outfit alongside Nagoya Grampus. Grampus themselves were Champions League semi-finalists a year later in 2009, but never since. Nakatani forwards. Daniel Schmidt on his toes. And Ryo Hatsuze over the ball. Plays it straight into the hands of Schmidt, and that's pretty much happened on every set piece that Gamba have had in this first half. Teruki Hawa. It's a good ball down the line to Kimura. It's gone right the way through to Tokumoto. He tried to squeeze it in at the near post. Gashiguchi onto it though, and it's a corner. Can they work here, Nagoya Grampus? 10 minutes to the break, 0-0. Massing at the back post, now they make their runs. They're away by Handa. Referee spotting a foul in there though by Nogami, and it's a free kick to Gamba. Mito's header to Kurata. Relatively quiet return to the side in this first half, Shu Kurata. Free kick now for Nagoya Grampus. Nakayama back on his feet again. Nakatani was beaten in the air. Kimura chasing after this. It's cleared away by Handa. Takumoto left it short though. Yamashita winning it back. Trying to get the ball forward early, but it's been overhit by Fuji. Here's Nakatani. Here's Nakatani. Yamashita. Again, buzzing around those central areas, always available. Nakatani. And hugging the touchline, it's back to Shuto Abe again. Abe once more. A couple of years in Belgium with Molenbeek between 2023 and 25 before returning to Gamba last season. Came through the ranks at FC Tokyo and played in their first team for 3 or 4 seasons before the switch to Belgium. Jabali. Nakatani, here's Yamashita. Abe, Yamashita. Minamino trying to just roll Fuji. There's a live wire, Minamino. Overstepped the mark and cost his side a goal with his foul on Teruki Hara. And he's kept the Nagoya Grampus defenders generally on their toes in this first half. Here's Kimura. Fuji. Inagaki. He's lost possession. Here's Jabali. Here's Yamashita one side. And Kura to the other, and it was a poor ball by Jabali. Referee waving play on as Abe has it. Now Jabali. Handa. Just about kept it in play and wins the corner. He did well to win the corner from there. He was off balance and he was on the stretch as well. No real pace on the cross, but the corner off the chest of Shuhei Takumoto. Referee again not happy with something in there. Plenty of niggle in this contest and they're at it again. Two captains, Nakatani and Inagaki. Hatsuze will deliver with the left foot. They're hoping a bit of that trophy-winning magic with Vissel Kobe will rub off on Gamba Osaka from Ryo Hatsuze. 2 J1 titles and an Emperor's Cup, completing the double in 2024. Good ball in from Hatsuze, the header back across towards Sasaki, who was caught there, the centre-back, as he tried to poke it in. Painful-looking collision that has left both players down. It was a better delivery this time, for once taking the goalkeeper out of the equation. And then it was Nogami and Shogo Sasaki who collided. It's fair to say hasn't really stamped his mark on Nagoya Grampus yet, Mihailo Petrovic. Did oversee Consadole Sapporo's relegation from J1 to J2, was left in charge to try and get them back up, which he couldn't do. And so they parted ways at the end of his contract. It shows how highly thought of he is right across the country, that Nagoya Grampus pounced to take him on and take over from Kenta Hasegawa, who couldn't reproduce the magic he did at Gamba Osaka with Nagoya Grampus. Here's Nakatani. Handa. Nakayama clears it away. Chase on for Marcus Vinicius, and he got there, but Abe did well. Certainly been one of the standouts in the Gamba midfield, Shuto Abe, in this first half. Here's Mito. Handa. Nakatani, 7 minutes to be added on at the end of the first half here. There's been a few stoppages, and of course that lengthy VAR check for what looked like Gamba Osaka's opening goal. Yeah, shoving the back there on Minamino. It's a free kick in a very useful position for Gamba. He's an all-action type of centre-forwards, Harumi Minamino. The way this campaign has started, looks as though he's the man for Jens Vissing at centre-forward. You can see why. A young coach believing in young players, which is good to see. Daniel Schmidt getting his wall organised. Japanese international goalkeeper with 14 caps, despite the fact he was born in Illinois in the United States. Born in the USA to a German father and a Japanese mother. Hatsuze might just fancy this. Jabali is there. The left foot of Ryo Hatsuze can be a real weapon from this sort of area. It is Hatsuze! Just the wrong side of the post. Decent attempt. Got it round the wall. Just not quite enough bend on it. Just wonder if it may have taken a nick there off Yamagishi as well on the way through. Goal kick the decision though. Flicked on by Yamagishi. Nakatani. Cleared by Sasaki. Jabali challenging for it. Here's Abe. Jabali. Abe. Now Sasaki. Still enjoying the lion's share of possession, Gamba Osaka. Haven't created a great deal though, apart from that Issam Jabali effort that was ruled out. Yamagishi. Looking to slide it through to Marcus Vinicius, who made his run behind the covering defender, which was Sasaki. On by Handa. Good turn by Minamino. Yamashita. Hatsuze. Yamashita again, just switching wings for the moment, finding Abe. He might just fancy this, he struck it, but over the top. Well, certainly there to be hit. Scored a couple of goals last season, Shuto Abe. The 1-0 win here against Urawa Reds and the 4-2 victory against Albirex Niigata. 2 goals in the space of 3 games, and that was it for him for the season. Kuruta. It's a good ball to pick out Jabali. Minamino made a run for him, but Takamine took it away. Abe. Abe again involved in everything for Gamba. Sasaki out to Hatsuze. Did well to dig out the cross from there, and the header just past the post from Minamino. He's going to prove such a good signing for Gamba Osaka, Ryo Hatsuze. It's a lovely delivery. Minamino just unable to guide the header on target. Joined the club in August. Hatsuze, as I was saying, from Sheffield Wednesday, but only featured 5 times after that last season. Real opportunity to bed in now in this 100-year Vision League. It's a wonderful opportunity and a rare one too for the 3 promoted clubs to bed in without the shadow of potential relegation, because no teams go down at the end of this campaign. $18 rounds of matches and then a weekend of playoffs. The winners of each region play off against each other for the title. The 2 second-place teams in the divisions will play off and so forth, right the way down to the playoff for 19th position. Nakatani back to Higashiguchi. Here's Mito. Hello, Petrovic suggesting that the sides have had enough as we move into the 8th minute of first half stoppage time. Well, the referee does draw it to a close, so it is goalless. Issam Jabali thought he'd given Gamba Osaka the lead, but a foul off the ball by Harumi Minamino saw that ruled out by VAR. Marcus Vinicius with the best opportunity for Nagoya Grampus was unable to finish it off past Higashiguchi after Gamba played themselves into their own problems, really. And we are 45 minutes away, potentially, from another Gamba Osaka goalless draw. It was 0-0 last weekend against Cerezo. They picked up the extra point in the penalty shootout. Are they heading the same way? Who knows? Half-time, it's Gamba 0, Nagoya Grampus 0.
J リーグファンサポーターの祭典 J リーグオールスターダゾーンカップ。出場する選手はファンサポーターによる投票と明治安田 J リーグ100年構想リーグのベストイレブンから選ばれます。この動画ではファンサポーター投票の詳細を説明します。投票方法は通常投票、スタジアム観戦投票、ダゾーン投票の3つ。通常投票は J リーグ公式 LINE または J リーグ所属の各クラブの公式 LINE のリッチメニューからオールスター投票を選択して参加します。 J リーグ ID に登録するだけで無料で簡単に投票に参加できます。スタジアム観戦投票は明治安田 J リーグ100年構想リーグの試合でご覧のいずれかのアクションを実施することで1試合ごとに LINE で投票できる投票権を獲得できます。投票権は対象試合の翌日までに付与されます。ダゾーン投票は試合視聴中のライブチャット機能ファンゾーンやアプリのログイン時に表示されるバナーから参加できます。通常投票とダゾーン投票は1週間に1回行うことができ、毎週新しい投票権を獲得することができます。スタジアム観戦投票は観戦した数だけ何度でも投票できます。続いて投票方法を説明します。1回の投票ごとにオールスターに出場してほしいと思う選手を6名までと監督1名を選んで投票します。選手はフォワード、ミッドフィルダー、ディフェンダー、ゴールキーパーの各ポジションから1名ずつの4名、さらに自由枠としてポジションにこだわらず追加で2名を選択。この時同じ選手に重複して投票はできません。最後に監督を選んだら投票完了です。投票は2月6日の明治安田 J リーグ100年構想リーグ開幕からスタートし、5月11日まで何度でも行うことができます。お気に入りの選手に今すぐ投票を。
Welcome back. A couple of changes at the start of the second half. Rin Mito replaced by Ryotaro Mashino in the midfield for Gamba. To take a bit of a knock, Mito. I wonder if that's been responsible for him making way at half-time. Mashino on for his second appearance of the season. And Yamagashi replaced by Mori for Nagoya Grampus. So both coaches switching up for the second half. Nil-nil. 1.5 games without a goal at either end for Gamba Osaka so far this season. So Nagoya Grampus get the second half underway at the Panasonic Stadium in Suita. Gamba nil, Nagoya Grampus nil. Not looked out of play. Sam Jabali having a goal ruled out for a foul off the ball by Harumi Minamino. Suze looking to clear, wins the throw. Interesting to see how Nagoya Grampus reorganised with Mori coming on, who's a more defensive-minded player than Yuya Yamagashi. Away by Sasaki. That was Schmidt. Here's Mori, sending the ball in early. It's picked up by Kimura, who turns, makes space, and gets the shot away, but I guess Iguchi with the save. And they're looking for the ball down the line to Yamashita, cut out by Takumoto. Just a little shove in the back of Nakatani. Kayama sends it out for a Nagoya Grampus throw. Neither of these sides have conceded a goal so far this season. Nagoya winning 1-0 last weekend. Things stay as they are. Nagoya would have 4 points, Gamba Osaka 3, and then it would be down to the penalty shootout to see who would pick up the extra one. Hatsuze over the free kick then for Gamba. Attacking their main bank of supporters now in this second half. In by Hatsuze. It's driven to the back post, fired in first time, and then the substitute Meshino having a pop at goal, and another, and tipped over the top by Schmidt. chances in terms of catching it, the goalkeeper, from Meshino's effort. The 27-year-old who had a season at Manchester City, didn't make a first-team appearance though. Loans with Hearts in Scotland and Rio Ave in Portugal. Returning to Gamba in 2022. Hatsuze's corner. Solid header away. There's Marcus Vinicius. Kimura in the centre. Inagaki. It's off target. Doesn't score many Inagaki, but he's certainly capable of hitting the target from that kind of range. Goals in 213 league appearances for Inagaki. Jabali didn't really get off the ground there. Fuji beating him easily to the ball. Here's Akatani. And by Hatsuze. Dispossessed by Mori. And Marcus Vinicius unable to pick up the loose ball. Meshino available wide. Here he is. Into Jabali, who's got a bit of time and space now. And the turn and shot from Minamino is blocked away by Fuji. Meshino. Another throw for Gamba. Hatsuze. There's no way through there. Too many white shirts. Not enough space really to work with. Here's Abe. Sasaki. Katani forward towards Minamino. Yamashita. Fed out to Hatsuze. Kurata in a bit of space behind him. Manages to pick out Jabali. Now Meshino. Forward here, Gamba. Here's Yamashita. The overlap from Handa, who gets the cross in. Nogami's header away. Now Hatsuze, another chance to deliver towards Jabali. And Meshino hits it. It's a fantastic save from Schmidt. Terrific goalkeeping. Danger not over yet, though. Here's Kurata. Chances his arm as well, and now it's gathered by Daniel Schmidt. That was a wonderful save from the Japanese international goalkeeper. There's Minamino. Giving the ball away again, Nagoya Grampus. Jabali hesitated to get the shot away. Abe tried to strike it. Really good spell at the start of this second half from Gamba Osaka. Been in front, but for the brilliance of Daniel Schmidt. Abe. Meshino cuts in, Meshino, it's another good save from Schmidt. Well, the low saves aren't always the most spectacular, but sometimes they're the hardest. Got down really quickly to that strike. Again, Schmidt. Hatsuze swings the cross in. Space for Yamashita. It's blocked away by Mori, the substitute. Now Sasaki trying to find a way through, but so many white shirts back there for Nagoya Grampus. And now a chance to counter. Nogami. Strong challenge from Sasaki. Shuto Abe again is there to cover. 10 dominant minutes at the start of the second half from Gamba Osaka. Jabali. On by Abe. Oh, Hando with the ball into Minamino. Tried to cut inside Fuji. Wondered if he might have struck it first time, but just tried to cut inside and open up his options. Haruya Fuji did well, though. Well, he's a live wire. He's pretty raw at the moment, Harumi Minamino. You can see there's potential there for him to be a top striker. And that was the second of the Daniel Schmidt saves. The first one was better, but the second just as significant. Seven years in Belgian football, Schmidt, playing for Sint-Truiden for 5 of them, and then a couple of seasons at Ghent where he was second choice. He's been back in Japanese football for just over a year now, since returning in January to Nagoya Grampus. Kamazaki Frontale and Vagolta Sendai prior to his switch to Belgian football. Oh, that's left short for Mori. Can he finish it himself? Good covering, though, by Nakatani, who was then pulled back by the Nagoya Grampus substitute. Yeah, it was a poor ball from Abe to Hatsuze that caused the problem. Shinichiro Mori very quickly onto it. A foul on Nakatani. There's Hatsuze. Kurata. Meshino's been really lively since being brought in at half-time. Well, there were signs when Danny Poyatos looked as though he was beginning to get a tune out of Gamba Osaka. Dipped again last season. The Spaniards' contract not renewed. They've gone with Jens Vissing instead. Vissing, who was a left-back during his playing days. Header down and driven in first time. And Gasaguchi is there to beat it away. Chance from nothing there, really, for Nagoya Grampus. Here's Hatsuze. Handa. Yamashita. I haven't seen an awful lot of Yamashita raiding down the wing. He's tending to cut inside Yamashita when he has had the ball. Cleared away by Takumoto, who's defended pretty well against him. So more changes afoot here. Kennedy is coming on for Nagoya Grampus. Looks as though it's going to be a triple change. Kensuke Nagai, the experienced striker that the Nagoya Grampus fans love so much, is going to be one of those changes. And Gamba Osaka added as well. Jabali is coming off. He's replaced by Gaku Nawata. So a triple change as well for Gamba. All back with Higashiguchi. Shuto Abe replaced by Tokuma Suzuki. It's just got to be about keeping Abe fresh, I think, for the massive second leg that they've got coming up against Pohang Steelers here on Thursday in the AFC Champions League 2. Shoji Toyama replacing Yamashita on the wing. And Toyama immediately winning a corner. Taken short. Now Meshino, that's a poor attempt. Face the running and the endeavour of the evergreen Kensuke Nagai. "36 years of age now. Here's Kennedy Mikini. So both sides have made 4 changes now, 1 each left to make. Easy gather for Higashiguchi. Just over 25 minutes to find a winner for either side, otherwise it will be going to penalties. One of the innovations of this bridging season. Sasaki. That's a good turn as Nagoya Grampus tried to pick their way through. There's Kennedy Mikini. Sent into the penalty area again. Well, Mori was the furthest forwards. Takamine digging out the cross. Misjudged by Hatsuze, but unable to take advantage of it, Soichiro Mori. From here for Gamba Osaka. May well have to use the fifth and final change. What an opportunity this is for Jens Vissing, a young coach starting out in his first senior role, to pit his wits against the experience of Mihailo Petrovic. He's well revered for the football he plays, but he's not won a great deal. He won the League Cup with the Urawa Reds in 2016 and led Sanfrecce Hiroshima to the J2 title in 2008. But you never hear supporters of his clubs complaining about being boring to watch, that's for sure. So Shogo Sasaki replaced by Shota Fukuoka.
Shota, 背番号2が入ります。
That'll be a concern. He was playing well alongside Nakatani. I wonder if he could well be out for the Pohang Steelers match here. Facing the quarterfinals of the AFC's second-tier competition up for grabs on Thursday. Competition in which Cristiano Ronaldo's Al Nassr will be the favourites, although Ronaldo has only actually played 10 minutes of it so far. Well, is that Fukuoka down? It is. He's only just come on. Grabs the back of his hamstring there. He's literally been on the field 30 seconds. Shota Fukuoka after replacing Sasaki. And if that is his hamstring gone, they're in a bit of trouble here, Gamba Osaka. I remember the days of when it was just one substitute and used to pick up an injury and coaches complained they needed more substitutes, and then they were given 3 and they still had the same problem, and now even with 5 it seems it's not enough to avoid a scenario of going down to 10 with injury. Hopefully Fukuoka's okay. It doesn't look good for him. And this is going to be a massive concern for the second leg on Thursday. with two centre-backs now, it seems, out of the picture. They're going to have to finish the game with 10 here. What he should have done is gone down and held onto his head and suggested it was a concussion injury. So Gashiguchi launches it forwards. Header away by Mori. Katani's header back to Higashiguchi. The landscape has changed a bit now for Gamba Osaka. I'm not sure I've ever seen a substitute go off as quickly as that after coming on. And now a clash of heads. Minamino is down for Gamba and Kennedy Mikini for Nagoya Grampus. Kennedy heading into Minamino. Well, he has one change left to make, Mihailo Petrovic. You do wonder, with the fact that Sasaki went off injured, that Fukuoka wasn't expecting to come on so quickly and so hadn't really warmed up properly. Well, if Minamino's unable to carry on here, they'll be down to 9. Nakatani and Inagaki getting involved with each other, former teammates at Nagoya Grampus. Well, he's back on his feet again, Minamino, which is certainly good news for Gamba and the game. Kennedy Mikini okay as well. The upshot is a free kick to Gamba. I think Nagoya Grampus weren't happy with that, but Kennedy Mikini clearly headed Minamino. So it has to be a foul and a free kick. Can Gamba, now down to 10, take this opportunity? Nagoya Grampus holding a higher line as possible. Floated in towards Nakatani. Nagoya Grampus get it away and look to counter with Koda. Kurita. There's Nakatani. Daniel Schmidt hooks it away. Here's Meshino. Handa in support outside him. Nawata made the run forwards. Kennedy Mikini, and now Fuji. An opportunity here maybe, but Nakatani just stepping in. An opportune moment, just as it seemed as though the Gamba defence had been opened up. Quarter of an hour to go, 0-0. Gamba going to start the season with successive goalless draws. If Nagoya Grampus could snatch the win, will take them to 6 points and top of the table after just 2 rounds. 2 rounds of 18. With the ball back to Daniel Schmidt. Yeah, Gamba still dominating possession of the ball. More attempts on goal as well, but it remains goalless. Suzuki. Gamba on the front foot again with Minamino. Held the ball up well, brought Suzuki into play, and now here's Kurata. Suze was screaming for it wide. It's back with Suzuki. Completely different midfield three now for Gamba to what they started the game with. Clipped through towards Minamino by Nawata. Just too much on it though. Minamino had checked his run as well. A little shove in the back there from Marcus Vinicius. The referee didn't spot it though, he got the shot away, but had it gone in it may well have been checked. Just a little nudge on Nakatani. That big chance, remember, for the Brazilian in the first half. Minamino is down. No relation, by the way, to Takumi Minamino, who plays for Monaco, former Liverpool and Salzburg forward. Here's Fuji. Kennedy Mikini. Haven't really got Kensuke Nagai involved in the game as yet. Opportunity now maybe for Hara to deliver the ball in. Nagai on the edge of the box there, making himself available, but the ball's just not coming his way. Komoto, flick off there by Nagai. A bit too much on it, and Handa able to keep it in play. If it stays like this, at least Nagoya Grampus will stop their run of losses against Gamba Osaka, having lost the last 4 meetings Gamba completing the league double over them in each of the last 2 seasons. It's going to be a third game, though, without scoring against them. Yeah, Meshino there just jumping into Hara. He's done well since coming on. Ryotaro Meshino. Inagaki, Fuji. Here's Hara. Fuji again. Hara finding space, swings the cross in, it's a free header. But it's straight at Higashiguchi from Marcus Vinicius. He's had 2 or 3 sights of the Gamba Osaka goal now, but been unable to finish them off. Haven't really taken advantage of having the extra man so far, Nagoya Grampus. Minamino. On again by Nagaki. Hooked away by Nakatani. Nagai putting the goalkeeper under pressure, but Higashiguchi did well. Fuji. On by Kennedy Mikini. To Kamine. Now Hara. He's got space, curls it for the far corner, but no real power on it. Masaki Higashiguchi saw it all the way. It does need to be a period of dominance here now for Nagoya Grampus. Gamba down to 10 men after Shota Fukuoka was taken off injured literally 30 seconds after coming on for the injured Shogo Sasaki. Pulled a hamstring the first time he had to run for the ball. Here's Mori. Skips away from a couple of challenges, but Tokuma Suzuki covered well. It's Fuji. Inagaki. Here's Fuji. Touchback by Hara to Kamine. On by Suzuki towards Minamino. Can't fault the work ethic at all from Harumi Minamino. Doesn't give the Nagoya Grampus defence a moment's peace. To Kamine. Hara. Can Nagoya Grampus find the winner here? Gamba in their current plight now probably would take a penalty shootout. To Kamine. Here's Hara. Kennedy Mikini lofts the ball across, but goes behind in the end. Hidemasa Koda unable to keep it in. Good player, Kennedy Mikini. Still only 25. He represented Japan at under 20 level. He's picked up in 2024 from Avispa Fukuoka, where he broke into their first team. Helped Nagoya Grampus lift the J.League Cup in the same year. Here's Kennedy Mekini. Opportunity here maybe, and it's wide again from Marcus Vinicius. Well, he's popping up in all the right places, but just hasn't been able to put the finishing touches on it. Well, the last thing you would have predicted with Mihailo Petrovic coming in for Nagoya Grampus would have been clean sheets in their opening 2 games. You may have fancied them to score a few goals, but it's been the exact opposite. Just 1-0 was enough against Shimizu S-Pulse. Inside the last 5 minutes here from a goalless draw. Here's Marcus Vinicius. Murray unable to get there. It's a Nagoya Grampus throw though. They try and find a winner here against the 10 men of Gamba Osaka and avoid the need for a penalty shootout. It's also worth an extra point anyway. If you can win in the 90 minutes, you get the full 3 points. It's only 2 if you win the shootout. To Kamine. Koda. Ball delivered in, and the header off target from guess who? Marcus Vinicius. Tokumoto with the delivery. It was a good ball. And still he awaits his first goal. Kennedy Mekini, it's Fuji. Minamino chasing that one, but Kennedy Mekini always favourite to get there first. Here's Meshino. Oh, Minamino was almost in. Here's Hara. To Kamine. Tokumoto outside him. Here's Anagaki. 2 minutes to go. Hara. Gamba well organised back there defensively. Sitting in behind the ball, leaving just Minamino upfield. Even he's coming back to help out now with a challenge on Kennedy Mekini now. Tokumoto. Chance to deliver again. Swings the cross in once more. The header goalwards by Marcus Vinicius, gathered by Higashiguchi. Well, the odds on him missing his penalty in the shootout. Certainly not been his day in front of goal, has it? Hara. Now Kennedy Mekini. Kennedy Mekini again, striding forward. Is Hara. 3 in the penalty area. Nagaki. Not a massive sense of urgency from Nagoya Grampus. Try and win this in regulation time. Here's Hara. Towards Tokumoto. Clips the cross in, Meshino with the header away. Now belted forward for Minamino to chase. Kennedy Mickeny had it covered though, and Daniel Schmidt very much on his toes. 7 minutes more to be added on at the end. To Kamine. Now Hara. Mori gets the cross in, left by Koda. Tokumoto plays it back in again. And then driven back across first time, and it's wide by Marcus Vinicius. He just cannot score this evening. Big chance in the first half, and that's another. And once he missed it, he almost looked across at the assistant, hopeful that his flag was up for offside. Well, the two gilt-edged chances of this game for Nagoya Grampus have fallen to Marcus Vinicius. Well, he's been unable to finish them off on both occasions. Handa. Be interesting to see if he's in the 5 for the shootout. You imagine he would be. Hara. Might still be his night yet. Here's Mori. Hara swings it in over Vinicius, and Nagai hits it. And deflected back to the goalkeeper, but on this occasion the deflection took any pace out of the ball. Not had his usual impact, Kensuke Nagai. Still time, still 5 minutes. One or two of the Gamba players puffing now. The extra workload with the unfortunate drop to 10 with Shota Fukuoka's injury. Nagai. Here's Mori. Vinicius in the centre, but it's blocked away by Nakatani, and he celebrates it like he's just scored. It's one of those players who loves defending, Shinsuke Nakatani, especially against his former club. Nagoya Grampus throwing forward Fuji and Hara. Corner whipped in. Combination of goalkeeper and defender get it away, but in it comes again for Nagoya Grampus. And Nagashiguchi gathers it at the second attempt, clattered into by Hara, who immediately apologised. I'll tell you what, if they have the need of penalties in their AFC Champions League 2 campaign, they're going to be well versed in them, aren't they? A 5-4 on spot kicks against Cerezo in the opener last weekend, and they are 3 minutes away from a successive 0-0 draw and another penalty shootout. Jabali Hamet and Shuto Abe were three of the penalty takers last weekend. None of them are on the field. So it will be a different mix for their 5, should it be required. Because here's Meshino. Minamino in the centre. Good work by Meshino! Couldn't finish it. Not quite the same quality of the previous 2 saves we've seen from Daniel Schmidt in this second half, but a necessary one nonetheless. poor finish from Ryotaro Mashino, having seemingly done the hard work. Koda. Crossed into the centre again, headed away by Kurita. To Kamine. Inagaki. Certainly played his part, Daniel Schmidt, and may have to play an even more central role shortly. Kennedy Mikuni's header. Mashino beaten to that by Hara. Good work from Terakuki Hara. Here's Mori. Touch back to the edge of the box. Inagaki hitting it first time. To Kamine. Kensuke Nagai. Throw Nagoya Grampus. Inagaki. Plenty in white in the centre, and the header is tipped over the top from Marcus Vinicius. It may have been dipping in, tipped away by Gashiguchi. His performance tonight really has been how not to score. 5 or 6 chances now for Nagoya Grampus. Disappointing evening for him, really. It would cap a decent performance otherwise from him. He's been a live wire, he's been a threat, just hasn't had those finishing touches. Cross in again, punched away by Gashiguchi. Inagaki fires it wide. I think he feels there may have been a touch on the way through, but it was off target, and that is indeed the final opportunity to win the game inside the 90 minutes. Marcus Vinicius with a somewhat bemused look on his face, wondering just how on earth he hasn't managed to score tonight for Nagoya Grampus. A few half chances, but there was 2 glorious opportunities as well for the Brazilian to open his account for Nagoya Grampus, not taken. Gamba Osaka, for the second time in as many weeks, finishing with a goalless scoreline, 0-0 last weekend, and it's finished Gamba Osaka 0, Nagoya Grampus 0 here, and it will be penalties again to decide the extra point here. So the coaches then having to go through their potential penalty lineups. Will he be involved, Marcus Vinicius? There's going to be a great degree of pressure on him, given what's happened in the 90 minutes here. Gamba scored all 5 of their penalties in the derby last weekend, but as I was saying, Jabali, Hammett, Shuto Abe aren't on the field. Nawata and Nakatani are. They scored all 5 in the 5-4 penalty shootout win. It was Raya Sakata who missed the 5th penalty for Cerezo that handed them the extra point. Well, interesting start to managerial life for Jens Wissing, the German coach of Gamba. Goalless draws in both league games. Penalty shootouts to decide them both. The third successive match now in which he has been in charge that has ended in a draw, including the 1-1 with Pohang Steelers. If it's a fourth successive draw, then it will be penalties again here on Thursday for a place in the quarter-finals of the AFC Champions League 2. They're certainly going to be well practiced in them. Well, Daniel Schmidt was certainly on form in the game, wasn't he? Produced some fine saves to keep Gamba Osaka at bay. The game changed a bit after the injury to Sasaki and then his replacement Fukuoka, who lasted all of 30 seconds. Nagoya will have to nominate a player to not take a penalty should it go to sudden death and go through the teams, because they have the extra player, of course. But 5 each to start with. That was enough for Gamba last weekend. Nagoya Grampus facing penalties for the first time this season. They eked out a 1-0 win against Shimazu S-Pulse. It means that nobody now in the West region can have 6 points after the opening 2 rounds. So just to reiterate, both teams get the point here for the draw. The penalty shootout is for the extra bonus point. Gamba could find themselves sitting on 4 points after 2 draws. And the penalties are going to be taken in front of the vociferous Gamba supporters. And stepping forward first is the Nagoya Grampus captain, Sho Inagaki. Up against Masaki Gasaguchi. Very interesting dynamic in these shootouts is there's not the usual pressure that you get in a cup competition. And that's a good penalty from Inagaki. And Nagoya Grampus lead in the shootout. Shukurata stepping up next for Gamba. Wasn't one of those who took a penalty in the derby against Cerezo last weekend, where there certainly was more pressure just by the mere fact it was a local derby. Up against Daniel Schmidt. Tucks it into the corner. And it's 1-1. So a solid start to the shootout, and now this is a big penalty, isn't it, for Marcus Vinicius, who, had he taken his chances, could have won the game in the 90 minutes for Nagoya Grampus. 2 big chances not taken. 2 or 3 other half chances. Can he tuck away his penalty? Yes, he can. Great character shown there from Marcus Vinicius, sending Higashaguchi the wrong way. And nobody flinching as yet. Really is a novel way to end league matches, isn't it? So Nagoya, who scored in the shootout last weekend, and doesn't this time. It's an awful penalty. Straight down the middle and straight at Daniel Schmidt, who didn't move. Well, it's often said that a goalkeeper should stay still for 2 or 3 of the shootout, because that's the number that often go down the middle, and he did just that, Schmidt. Just stood there, and Nagoya effectively passed it back to him. And now a chance here for Tomoki Takamine to put Nagoya Grampus 3-1 up in the shootout. And that really does put the pressure on Gamba's next penalty taker. Higuchi pointing where he wants him to put it, and he was actually right and went the other way. Good penalty from Takamine. Higuchi trying to psych him out, it didn't work. So 3-1 down. This is Gamba's penalty in hand, which really does need to go in from Suzuki. Yeah, it's a good penalty. Threading it past Daniel Schmidt. And keeping Gamba alive in the shootout. Had he missed that, Nagoya would have had the next one to win it. Nagoya Grampus are 2 penalties away from an extra point, which would move them on to 5 points, level with Vissel Kobe and Sanfrecce Hiroshima at the top of the West Region table. Haruya Fuji, the centre-back, 3 from 3 so far, Nagoya Grampus. This goes in, Gamba Osaka will have to score the next one. Oh, it's hit the bar! And Gamba are right back in it. Rifled it onto the crossbar, and it cannoned back well in front of the line. So now the captain, Shinosuke Nakatani, against his former club. And he could level the shootout here. Oh, but it's a shocking penalty. Saved again by Daniel Schmidt. And now it is match point for Nagoya Grampus. Having just got back into it with Fuji hitting the bar, Nakatani fails to beat Schmidt. And this is to win the extra point for Nagoya Grampus. Shuhei Tokumoto. Can Higashiguchi pull them back into the shootout again? He can! It's saved! Well, the last 3 spot kicks have all been missed. Good height for the goalkeeper. And Higashiguchi guessed right. They were ready to celebrate victory. But now if this goes in, we're going to sudden death. Scored their first 3 penalties, Nagoya Grampus. And then Fuji and Tokumoto unable to score. This is to take us to sudden death, and it's been skied over the top by Shoji Toyama. And Nagoya Grampus take it 3-2 in the shootout. A shocking last penalty. And in truth, after the first 6 spot kicks, the shootout went downhill. The last 4 penalties all missed. And it is Nagoya Grampus who come away with the victory on penalties. It moves them on to 5 points, level with Vissel Kobe and Sanfrecce Hiroshima at the top of the table. Gamba Osaka, after victory against Cerezo in the shootout, scoring all 5 of their penalties last weekend, scoring just twice this time around. And although in the 90 minutes Nagoya Grampus have failed to end their run of failing to beat Gamba Osaka, it's 5 without a win now in regulation time. But they have at least had some success here with victory in the shootout, and they can return to the Toyota Stadium with 2 points in the bag. All smiles, Daniel Schmidt. What a good night for him. Played really well, 2 fabulous saves in the 90 minutes, and then 2 more saves in the penalty shootout before Toyama blazed over the top. It finishes here, Gamba Osaka 0, Nagoya Grampus 0. Nagoya Grampus winning 3-2 on penalties for the extra point. Well, we're hoping to get a bit of post-match reaction very shortly. Well, sort of a first defeat for Jens Vissing, but he does remain unbeaten in open play since taking over. 3 draws out of 3. Big match on Thursday against Pohang Steelers here for a place in the quarterfinals of AFC club competition. Nagoya Grampus have made a decent start to this campaign. Who'd have thought it? 2 clean sheets in a row under Mihailo Petrovic. I'm sure it won't be long before the goals start flowing the way he likes to play. Consadole Sapporo were one of the most enjoyable teams to watch during their spell under him in the top flight. And remember, a place in the AFC Champions League up for grabs for the winner. It would be crucial for Nagoya Grampus to finish top of the pile. Kyoto Sanga, by the way, would be the team to benefit if one of the 2 teams that qualified from last season for the AFC Champions League does win the 100-year Vision League. The Champions League spot would go to 3rd place from the 2025 season last season, and that was Kyoto Sanga. Nagoya Grampus have certainly made a good start. 3 teams level on 5 points, and here's the goalkeeper, Schmidt.
見事 PK 戦を制し、チームを勝利に導きました。今の気持ちを聞かせてください。
PK になる前にね、相手が1人、相手にとっては不運な形で、こちらにとって数的有利な状況になったんで、できれば90分で勝ち切りたかったところですけど、しっかりね、ここで逆転で負けたら、逆転というか、この状況で負けたらもったいないんで、それをしっかり、どうにか勝ちにこぎつけられてよかったです。
PK 戦を振り返っていただきたいんですが、2人目は動かず勝負目と述べ、4人目はしっかり